Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. Connoisseurs, it's Rod with Pow Group, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news and interviews. Today is Saturday, August 9th. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. And in this video, we're going to do another rapid fire news update, this time for the period August 2nd to August 8th. And again, it's not a deep dive detail, it's just a high level overview in case you missed it. Before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos. A lot to get to, so we'll get to it. As always, not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. This was probably the biggest article that just dropped, and it was from Marijuana Moment. Trump says he's going to look at marijuana as White House Chief of Staff receives rescheduling reports. So there's nothing super concrete here, but President Donald Trump's administration is currently weighing whether to move forward with MJ rescheduling process initiated under the Biden administration, with the president recently telling donors that we need to look at the issue according to reports. That's something that we're going to look at, Trump said at a $1 million a plate fundraiser dinner at his Bedminster, New Jersey club recently, according to CNN and the Wall Street Journal. The comments come as MJ industry observers have waited for signals on whether the administration will follow through on the president's campaign pledge to reschedule the plant. And Curaleaf CEO Kim Rivers was in attendance at the dinner where Trump briefly discussed marijuana this month, the Journal reported. So there doesn't seem to be anything concrete or anything like this. It's just more of the same, right? It's just the writing's on the wall. We know that they're moving towards it eventually, and I know a lot of people are getting impatient, but if there's one thing that we learned in this sector is patience is a virtue, right? We have to, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Nothing's going to happen overnight, and I don't know if you've been following U.S. politics, but they're very, very slow. So they move at turtle speed. Just look at what happened in crypto, right? Like, it took them forever, and they're finally getting that done. But again, that has a lot to do with this as well. Every second word out of this new administration, every second word of the mouth is crypto, blockchain, or AI. So they've been signing, all kinds of executive orders with regards to AI and blockchain and crypto. They just had 401ks. They just got the Genius Act signed into law. Now they're going to work on the Market Structure and Clarity Act and anti-CBDC. After that, then I think they're going to pivot over to cannabis, and it'll be promises made, promises kept. I mean, the writing's on the wall, folks. He wanted Florida Amendment 3 legalized. He said he was in favor of rescheduling on this campaign trail, safer banking, and states' rights. So I don't think we need any more. We don't really need to look further past what we already know. And then Trump will not legalize MJ, says former White House press secretary Sean Spicer. Well, keyword former, I think things have changed, right? He also said that he didn't like crypto, and now he's all over it. So people's opinions can change, and in my opinion, the U.S. is going to be struggling. They're going to need jobs. They're going to need tax revenue. They're trying to cut down on spending. What is useless spending if it's not with MJ, right? Cracking down on these illicit grows and stuff like that, right? But if there was a regulated market, that would cut down on spending. It would also bring in tax revenue, and it would also create a ton of jobs. Those are all music to his ears. He even said on Lex Friedman that, medical has been nothing short of amazing. The doctors are saying all kinds of great things about it. So I look at all the celebrities endorsing it too. Everything is pointing to the direction that we want to be going in. It's just not happening as quickly as most people would like it to, but we are getting there. Also, Trump's former DEA head, which is none other than Derek Maltz, the interim head for there for a bit, predicts that the president will dig into MJ laws and figure out the best way forward. And you remember Chris Christie said that he would attempt to deschedule it. I think that's ultimately where we end up, but I think they're going to take that incremental approach. Also, Trump privately committed to MJ rescheduling, said CEO. I posted a video on this as well. This was Scott's Miracle-Gro CEO saying he said it multiple times in private meetings. So again, what more do we need other than him actually coming out and following through? It's going to happen eventually. And like I said, I think there's just bigger issues at the moment, right? We have the global trade war. We have wars going on across the Middle East and, Russia and Ukraine. So there's a lot of things right now taking higher priority. And then you got, like I said, crypto, blockchain, and AI. Every second word is one of those words out of their mouth. So, like I said, I think MJ will be very, very soon. DEA releases new data on MJ enforcement and tracking Chinese grows for the first time. So this is another positive sign, because it goes to show you that a lot of the problems that come from MJ and a lot of the research that we've done, it's the illicit ones, right? It's these rogue growers, like these Chinese growers, who are filling it full of pesticides and all kinds of chemicals, and it's just not good, right? And then it's being cross-contaminated with other drugs because it's not being regulated, controlled properly, and quality tested and whatnot. So again, all the more reason to legalize it so that you get fentanyl, right? There's been traces of fentanyl in bags of weed. Even J.D. Vance said that, right? So all the more reason to legalize it and make it safe, access to safe, and make America healthy again, right? And to quote JFK, or RFK Jr., sorry. So again, it's all heading in that direction. I don't think we don't need to look further past our own nose at this point, right? The writing is on the wall. Also, Village Farms International announces expansion of cultivation capacity in Delta, BC. The Canadian MJ company will convert 550,000 square feet of its remaining greenhouse space to production. So this is great to see. I'm a big bull on Village Farms now. I wasn't before when they had their veggie business, but they divested that to Vanguard Food, and I've been slowly adding to my position, full disclosure. Also, Cookies expands to the Caribbean, opening first retail store in Jamaica. Super cool. The MJ Lifestyle brand's new store in Montego Bay follows international growth in Europe and Asia. Also, Glasshouse Brands responded to the federal raid. They cut ties with their labor contractors and they signed a deal with Teamsters. So Glasshouse Brands has issued its first statement following a federal immigration raid last month and 2 of its California MJ firms, confirming that the 9 of its employees were detained and announcing sweeping changes to its labor practices. Essentially, they said, we didn't do anything knowingly. They said that our minimum wages are actually above standards. Long story short, they said that it was mostly the contractors, but at some point you have to be compliance first, right? You have to take compliance seriously. So this is a big red flag for me. And when I'm parking my hard-earned dollars, especially a large amount of my hard-earned dollars, I don't like red flags. And this is a huge red flag for me. Same thing with like Trulieve, right? There was a worker that died on the job, and the ex-CFO wrongly expensed like almost $500,000. Just not a good sign. Like the CEO's husband was in a RICO case and sent to prison. Like those are way too many red flags for me. I wish everybody the best. Hope you make life-changing wealth with Glasshouse and Trulieve. It's just I'm not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole because I don't like red flags. But it's just for me, it's like, well, if they're doing all this other stuff, what stuff do we not know about? And then same thing here with Glasshouse. If this stuff is happening and they're not really taking compliance seriously or really working on compliance, what else are they cutting corners on? So that's just all I have to say. Other than that, again, I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. I'm just saying, just be very, very cautious. Also, Canopy Growth expands their global medical portfolio with the launch of 7 Acres in Australia. And PAX unveils the new Flow, the brand's most powerful dry herb MJ vaporizer ever. So competing with the likes of Stores and Bickle, if you will. Also, France finalizes medical MJ framework and will integrate this into the healthcare system in 2026. Folks, I don't know what's going on down in the U.S. They're smoking something other than schedule. Well, it shouldn't even be scheduled, but they're smoking something other than MJ. They must be on something harder than that because these politicians, I don't know what's going on. It's been almost 7 years in Canada. The rest of the world isn't waiting for the U.S. It's time for the U.S. to get their you-know-what together. And I could care less about politics, about one side of the aisle, what color you are. I'm, party agnostic. I don't care. All I want is common sense to prevail. And MJ is medicine, right? It's a healthier alternative than alcohol, tobacco. It kills no one, right? There's never been one recorded death from MJ consumption. To overdose, you'd have to like smoke your body weight in in a matter of minutes, which is literally physically impossible. So there's never been, the science is there, the data's there. They're trying to slow this industry down. And in my opinion, it's just these politicians, they're there for like career politicians. You're there to serve the people. 80 to 90% of your population in the U.S. wants it legalized. It's time to do what you were supposed to do, is represent the people. They pay your salaries, meaning, which means really nothing because Nancy Pelosi has over $400 million net worth. So she's like half a billionaire and she has a salary of like $300,000 a year. Like, it doesn't compute, right? It means that she should be gone. Like, oh my God, it's so frustrating. It's just crazy to think that we've been almost legal for 7 years here in Canada, almost a decade, and the U.S. still has no clear pathway, right? Like, I love you, I love Americans, I love each and every one of you listening, but I can't stand your political system. I can't stand really any political system, but this one is so broken, it's not even funny. And yeah, things need to change. Vote them out. These people should not be career politicians. You shouldn't be able to be. It should be, a couple terms most. It has to end, and they have to, start putting their people first. And 80 to 90% of people want it legalized in some form of another. It's time to get with the program. Curaleaf also reported their second quarter 2025 results, highlighting progress on 2025 plan. So they're sitting on a boatload of cash. Their second quarter revenue was $302 million with 61% gross margin. And overall, it was kind of lackluster. It was kind of a sell-off toward, and then also ACB, Aurora reported as well. They missed in terms of their estimates. Earnings season really starting to roll in. But yeah, they were very lackluster. Auxly to report second quarter results on August 14th. I'm going to be having Hugo Alves on as well for an interview shortly after. So looking forward to that one. And we'll be covering that one. That's going to be on Thursday next week. So really looking forward to that. Also, Fluent CEO resigns in mutual departure agreement. So not a great look, but mutual, I guess, is the key word there. Curaleaf reports second quarter 2025 results, domestic stabilization, and robust international momentum. And they talked about Turkey, awarded a license to operate in Turkey's nascent medical MJ market. And they beat estimates, and in my opinion, I would say this was the most impressive report, and their gross margin's getting up there. It's almost at 50%, at 49% for the quarter. International revenue was $41 million, and second, Curaleaf is the biggest, in my opinion. This is the Curaleaf and the Tilray show. This is what the MJ industry is going to be dominated by. It's these two companies. Curaleaf's the biggest company by revenue. They have the biggest footprint in the U.S. They're now a Canadian operator. They have Northern Green Canada under their belt, and they operate internationally. They operate in more countries than a lot of operators in the U.S. MSOs operate states. Same thing with Tilray. And even Boris Jordan said he said what Curaleaf spent to expand internationally cost them about $400 million. So basically, what Curaleaf has for cash right now on their balance sheet, that's what it would take. It would deplete their entire cash position to expand and do what Curaleaf did. And now it's going to cost even more, and it's called opportunity cost. You're losing first to market. And these companies, Green Thumb pausing quarterly conference calls as well as a big red flag, but they had their second quarter 2025 results. They actually missed estimates in terms of EPS, and on a adjusted basis, they actually came in with a beat, but they did have a net loss because of the GAAP format. So not great to see them pausing conference calls. I think that's a big FU to investors. It's not like you're struggling. The company is supposedly financially sound and doing great, right? So why would they be pausing quarterly conference calls? I can understand if you had a going concern and you're burning cash and you really just need to focus on, like Auxly did that, right? And they were still doing quarterly letters to shareholders, and maybe they'll resume conference calls soon. But a company like Green Thumb, I don't know, it's kind of weird to me. Yeah, I think there's better opportunities out there. And like I said, Green Thumb only operates in I think the last time I checked, it was 14 states in the U.S., and that's it. So I think it's going to be tough times for them as they build out and, kind of dip into their cash reserves and CapEx expenditures. They're going to have to dip into their cash reserves, maybe even dilute if they want to expand to different states and countries. Like I said, I think Curaleaf and Tilray are just light years ahead of the pack. Also, MariMed reported their second quarter 2025 earnings, and they've been benefiting from new states and whatnot coming online, like Delaware. Innovative Industrial Properties reports second quarter 2025 results. Stock has been struggling, though. Also, Cresco Labs had a solid Q2 performance, and debt refinancing strengthened the foundation for long-term value creation. But I don't know. I'm starting to lose a little bit of interest in Cresco Labs, to be completely honest with you. They've been getting out of markets as well, and I don't know. I just don't see a whole lot of value there in the Cresco brand. I would say they're more than likely going to get absorbed by another company at some point. Also, Tilray Brands launches the Humble Seed whole wheat protein crackers at Whole Foods Market, which is a subsidiary of Amazon, as they continue to roll out their wellness brand. Also, Kronos Group reported their 2025 second quarter results. They had a great Great report and industry-leading balance sheet of $834 million in total cash and cash equivalents and short-term investments. So don't go sleeping on Cronos. I think there's going to be some big moves coming on their part with that war chest of capital. Also, Verana Q2 revenue falls 9%. I was screaming from the rooftops for many, many months, and if not almost a year at this point, about AOR. Verano kind of puts a weird taste in my mouth as well. I'd be careful with this one. We also just had some news that their president, Darren Weiss, resigns role. Weiss, who joined the multi-state operator in 2017, is leaving the company to pursue MJ business opportunities outside the U.S. What the hell, U.S. politicians? It's time to get with the program here. And I don't know, this is another red flag to me. It's a small one, but a red flag nonetheless. So I just be careful with Verano. Yeah, these companies with, the lack of reform in the U.S. and high debt loads and price compression and illicit market competition from other MSOs in the space, it's going to be very, very tough for them. So we have to be aware that a lot of the issues that these Canadian companies had are going to be similar in the U.S. And actually, it's a little different because in the U.S. they're prolonging reform very, very long, right? Like it's taking so long. It's almost ridiculous. It is ridiculous at this point. Whereas in Canada, it was a legal market, so they had clear rules of the road, but high excise tax. But at least they had legislation. Whereas in the U.S., it's just it's like the Wild West still at this point. You can't even accept with credit cards. It's so much different, right? Once we get safer banking uplisting in the NYSE and the NASDAQ, money will start pouring in and things will change drastically. Also, Florida's top MJ regulator steps down, and that is Christopher Kimball. And he was Deputy General Counsel in Governor Ron DeClown's office. So I wouldn't want to work under that clown either. But yeah, hopefully Ron DeClown is the next to step down. Major airline won't be serving MJ sodas despite reports. So if you remember seeing this, what was it? I forget what it was called. Something Atlantic. But anyway, it was kind of cool to see that. And then it turns out they denied the report. So I don't know. It said it was a marketing stint or something like that. But they didn't list the name of the company there for some reason. But also, Canopy Growth reported first quarter fiscal 2026 financial results, and they skyrocketed. We had a huge short squeeze. Stock was up like 30% and lifted the sector as well. I just posted a video on that. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions in that video. Also, Germany's medical market continues record growth in the face of clampdown. This is going to be a huge market, folks, and regardless of what the U.S. does, these Canadian LPs, your Curaleafs of the world, they're focusing on international because they know that that's where the growth is. There's more people in Europe than there is in the U.S. This industry doesn't need the U.S. We all know that it's important. It's the biggest capital markets in the world. It's the biggest economy in the world. But everybody in the planet is going to need this medicine. Everybody wants it. Everybody needs it. Everybody enjoys it and wants it. So it's going to be proliferating the entire globe. And, these companies aren't going to just wait for these U.S. Politicians to finally do what they're supposed to do and serve the American people. One day they'll kind of get back to their roots and realize that, we work for the people, not the other way around. I just can't stand it. If you hate all politics, life gets better. Trust me. Also, TerraSend reports $65 million in Q2 revenue from continuing operations. The multi-state MJ operator reported positive cash flow from continuing operations for the 12th quarter. I get a lot of questions about TerraSend as well. I don't really have any strong opinion, negative or positive. I think Canopy Growth still owns like 10 or 12% of them. So I'd say the most likely scenario here is they get absorbed by CUSA, Canopy USA, or another operator. I just don't think there's enough value there for the whole longevity aspect. Still thousands of producers in Canada, thousands and thousands of producers in the US. We obviously don't need that. There's going to be a handful or a couple handfuls, right? There's going to be like a dozen or half a dozen big players, just like the alcohol industry. Not to say there won't be like their niche markets rather than the small operators, but the 6 to 12 big ones are going to dominate this industry, and there's going to be so much consolidation ahead. All right, let me know what you think of this news in the comment section. We'll continue the conversation there. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth, and we'll catch you on the next one.